Like one of the things that like everybody that's listening who's a mega agent in their particular area, or even a newer agent saying this is going to be the direction that I'm going in, one of the challenges that I've heard is how do you find great talent and then retain them? Like I mean, when you think about expanding into another market, that person's a leader. They've had sales experience. Like how do I hire that person? Have my systems kind of duplicated in their market, and then how do you retain that person over the long term? I mean, I see that as turnover is a big problem with these expansion teams, right?
Well, not necessarily. I think it can be, but I don't think it has to be. So what does that mean? A couple of things. One, you clearly have to understand what that expansion partner wants, and do you have a big enough world to get them there? So I think what people have to get out of the mindset of is that it's about a split. It's not about a split. What it is about is how are you going to share the revenue, and how what's important to that expansion partner, and do you have a big enough world? It really is about sharing in the profits or sharing in the revenue versus I'm on a split. And so it really does look like a partnership, should feel like a partnership. We have talked about before in terms of, gosh, you're a team member on a split. When you're talking to talented people like that, that's the last thing they want to hear. What I want to know about is big why. What is it that drives them? What is it that they want? And do I have the vehicle or the ability to get them there? And so what I mean by that, if they be an expansion partner in a location, they build it out for a couple of years, and they want to go grow it again. And so how do you help them retain part of the profitability engine and go out and build another one and another one? And all of a sudden, they look up one day and they could have some profitability in 4 or 5 locations that they have built, and their world can look very, very different. So, but not everyone's going to want to do that. Some people are going to want to go build it in that other location and stay right there, and that's fine too. The big issue is, Daniel, is that everybody has to get out of their own way and really ask the partner what they want. Because if you get them what they want, then you're going to get what you want. And so what that can look like, for instance, a lot of us have built large teams that function really, really highly in a specific location. And I think what we have to remember is that when you expand, let's just say the hub in Wasilla, for instance, closes about $50 million of volume a year. And am I okay with having 2 or 3 or 4 extension partners doing 10 or 15 million a year? So it's going to look a little different than the hub, but in essence, within 1 or 2 years, you have 3 or 4 or 5 locations doing $15 to $20 million. All of a sudden, your expansion partners are doing more volume collectively than your hub is. Mm-hmm. And all of a sudden, you've got a pretty big business. So expansion really is about building a bigger business, increasing your profitability, and deepening your bench of talent. Because as you grow, as you know, before I started in expansion, I had 1 virtual assistant from your firm, and now we have 3. Right. So you do grow, and because of that, you've got a deeper bench of talent, and so it puts you at less risk as well when all of a sudden there's some attrition or something happens that maybe a team member does move on. But also, what I can tell you is the unintended positive consequences of expansion are that really, truly, if somebody enjoys being on your team, they really never have to leave it, even if they have to leave that location.